All right, guys. Today is December 12th. Nope. December 22nd, 2024. Just a couple days before the holiday. I just want to do a live stream. This may be the last one for the year. I may be able to do one next Sunday, but I'm not sure yet. But we'll be able to do stuff and talk about a couple of things going on. Some movies that I saw and stuff that hopefully you're going through right now with this holiday season. But like I said, today is December 22nd, 2024, live stream for the next hour. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever you celebrate on there too. And it was kind of funny because I was talking to a couple of employees of mine, and you want to say Merry Christmas, but then you don't want to like offend anybody, and so you're like Happy Holidays. I don't know what to say, but it's it's just kind of a funny joke because people take it so seriously right now. Is like you don't want to offend anybody, and I don't think saying Merry anything is a big deal, but for some people it is, I guess. Or is it really? Or is that what it was and that's what everybody thinks? Who knows? If everyone thinks that, there's a problem, is there really a problem or not? I guess hope not. I hope not. But thank you guys for taking the time to be here. Next week, so next Sunday's the 29th, and then the following Wednesday, so a week from Wednesday, Christmas, is the 1st, which will be 2025, which is crazy that it just seems like 2025, we should be like further along with certain things. And I guess we are, right? We have electric vehicles, we have more solar powered stuff. Like when you were thinking about 2025 in 1987 or 1991, where did you see the world would be? And are we there? We have a lot of things, and I feel like we're getting more and more stuff for the house and for technology and making it easier, and with delivery and everything, and all the companies that are just having it really delivered to us very quickly. But other than that, what are we really doing? Do we have stuff that's better off? Like, is our food better off? Is this better off? Are we better off? Because some people say no, we have a lot of stuff with social media, and everything is going through you can have your social media accounts on like a variety of different things. And it's just kind of like too much for a lot of people. But we're going to be going into 2025, and hopefully it's got a good year for you. We'll have a couple Walking Dead shows still going on. We'll have, Dead City probably early 2025, February, March, or whatever. There's no exact date unless I missed it. The Daryl Show season 3 is, filming, so I don't know when that's going to come out, but I would assume probably October again, because we know traditionally it would be February, October. And after this year, I don't know what the future holds for universes like The Walking Dead. Because what's really good on AMC right now? Dark Winds is good. I don't really watch anything else besides The Walking Dead stuff. And, I tried to watch some holiday movies, Christmas movies. Like Christmas Vacation is my favorite holiday movie. And it was on AMC. I put it on commercial. Watched something for literally 20 seconds, commercial. I'm like, it's just not worth it. I'd rather watch it on HBO Max or something else like that too. So, but other than that, guys, what's your favorite holiday movie? What's your favorite Christmas movie? What's your favorite, something to watch around the holidays? Mine, like I said, is Christmas Vacation. So we went down to South Florida last weekend, to see my in-laws. And, it was nice to see this. And we watched Elf, a little bit of Polar Express that I'd never seen before. And then we went back to the hotel and Home Alone was on, so we watched a little bit of that. And, I guess there's a lot of different movies. There's a lot of different stuff. Like, you could watch Hallmark movies. You could watch this. And I've always liked TV shows that have like a holiday episode. Like The Sopranos has one Thanksgiving episode, one Christmas episode. Friends has a lot of Thanksgiving episodes. And I think like 2 Christmas episodes. Walking Dead never did a holiday episode because I guess they didn't care about it. It wasn't that type of show. Did they lose track? Did you not have, like, was there ever a running calendar on The Walking Dead? Did they knew what day it was? We still were never really exactly clear when The Walking Dead viral zombie outbreak took over. We never have an exact time of reference. We have 28 years later. There was 28 days later, 28 months later, or whatever it was, and then 28 years later. And it looks pretty good. The guy, Aaron Taylor, whatever his name is, who played Kick-Ass, and he was just in Craven. I just watched. I saw Craven this weekend, and it was okay. It wasn't as bad as most people are saying it is, and it's not that great by any means, but I like the actor, and it's an okay story. But he's the guy in 28 years later, which is kind of cool. They're still making zombie stuff. Though I guess they'll always have a niche and a need for end of, just the feel of what do we need in this genre of stuff. And they're always going to be like the medical shows, the police shows, the law and order shows, the lawyer shows, and branches of that off. And then there's going to be like the end of times stuff, whether it's a viral outbreak or a zombie outbreak or whatever, that is always going to be some sort of need for that. Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, yeah. I didn't see it. He's in Gladiator 2? I didn't see that movie. But it's, especially with all the streaming services and everything that's filling the need, there's always going to be these areas that need it too. So I wonder if we're ever going to get a show like The Walking Dead ever again, because it was a game-changing show for so many people, myself included. And it was pretty awesome to see it as how it changed my view of television, a community that I might not have ever been a part of. Georgia, the whole aspect of production, movies, series, shows, movies, TV shows, filming in Georgia, which pretty cool. Yeah, I don't care about 28 this, 28 that, 20. So you got 28 seconds later, 28 minutes later, 28 days later, 28, weeks later, 28 months later, 28, whatever. There's a little thing. Oh, 28, 28, 28, 28. Great. And it's their little whatever. But I saw the trailer for the Superman movie that comes out in July, and it looks really good. James Gunn does a good job, and he did a good job with Guardians of the Galaxy and his Marvel stuff on there too. And it looks really good. The Superman Clark Kent actor is somebody that I don't know, and the guy who's playing Lex Luthor is. And so it's been like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, like those 3 characters. Comic book characters have been played by so many different actors. It's crazy. And now we'll have another Superman. But there's a trailer that came out that it looks really good. And it's got action-packed. It's got this part. And, I definitely want you to check out the trailer. But it's just pretty cool because it draws you in right away. Like Superman is in the snow. And he's all beaten up and kind of bloodied from the lip. And he's laying there and he's like struggling. And then there's different clips go on to, and then they have this thing like moving so fast in the snow coming towards Superman. And Rob Cato is what I'm talking about because he just said it. And it's you wonder what it is, and then it's and it comes up and it's the dog Crypto, and Crypto saves him and is pulling him through the snow, and he's like dragging him along, and he's doing that too. And it's just a really cool thing that like hasn't been done in any of the Superman stuff, and I really hope that James Gunn does a really good job with it, and I think he will. He's done really well with a lot of things, and I think a lot of his stuff I've really enjoyed, and I just think he's going to be a nice new take on it, and I really hope he can build his DC Universe up in that genre, because has a big following too. Like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all those characters, the Joker, and everything is just Lex Luthor. Everything just builds up for characters that are great, and that's what you want. That's what we kind of want now. We're looking for that. We're looking for not just a show, but multiple shows, multiple connections, multiple universes, universi, whatever the plural is. Just trying to keep that going so you can kind of get into that world, like a Game of Thrones, the Taylor Sheridan universe stuff of the Yellowstone. It just builds it up more and more and more because people want to dig into it. Like when The Walking Dead was huge, you couldn't get enough. When it was the best show on television or the highest rated show on most watched show on television, people were like, oh man, I gotta wait a week. And that's awesome when you get to watch a show that you're just excited for every week, or on Netflix or something, like every episode, which it's kind of annoying that they just post all the episodes right away because someone's gonna, like, I know they just finished filming, they wrapped up filming Stranger Things, the final season. So I guess it's season 5. They just finished filming. So I'm assuming it's going to take months and months and months and months for the sound effects, the VFX, the visual effects, this, that, the lighting, the practical, whatever. It's just put it all together and it'll come out whenever. And it's just pretty awesome. Like you just want more of it. You want to find out what's going down with it. And it's just one of those things that you just want to build it up, and you're just excited to see where it goes. And with The Walking Dead, they tried with Fear the Walking Dead and tried with all the other spinoffs and everything, but it's what it was. And even with the latest spinoffs, it is what it is. And I'm still going to watch, the Daryl show to see what happens, and the Maggie and Negan Dead City show, but we'll have to see. It's just on the way out, which happens, which is fine. But like, I don't think we're ever going to see Rick Grimes again or Michonne again or anybody like that. Like we're going to see Daryl, Carol, and then it's just going to eventually end too. So thank you, Darlene. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. It's just nice to have people pop in and everything too. So it was just nice to. It's really cool to I have to work. It's crazy because I don't have a lot of time off right now around the holidays. So I have to work Monday and Tuesday, off Wednesday, regular work Thursday and Friday, off weekend. Then we have Monday, Tuesday, regular days, off New Year's Day, Thursday, Friday, work, off weekend, and then we're into 2025 full force. And it's just like. It's a rat race every day. Yeah, me too, Darlene says. I miss the exciting days of reporting all the filming secrets. Yeah, I mean, part of me misses that too. I remember just getting all this information it felt like every week, every day, maybe multiple times a day. We were getting like so much information about, oh, this was seen filming, or that was there too. And it was like, it was cool. It was exciting. It was exciting. And maybe we'll meet down the road with another show or something like that too, but it was good. Rob K asks me, you finished Christmas shopping? I finished a few days ago. Well, good, Rob. I'm glad you finished. I finished probably about a week or so ago. Like a couple things had to come in the mail, and they came, and were pretty good, and I had to mail something to my mom and stepdad, and then my dad's just going to get something deposited in his account so he can buy whatever he wants. My dad's 75 now. Like, what do you buy a 75-year-old person who has everything, right? He has his car, he has his house, it's paid off, it's this, he's got that. He's in New Jersey, so I don't get to see him all the time. And so I don't know what he needs, so I just give him some money and he can buy whatever he wants and whatever he needs. At one time, he wanted a robe, right? And I don't know the size of a robe. Is kind of tough. Is it this large, extra large, big and tall, whatever. And so he's like, I want a robe. I was like, all right, I'll give you the money and go buy your robe. So then he had pictures of his robe and whatever. So hopefully he still uses it. But stuff like that, practical, Gift cards are always good. I love gift cards. I'm not against gift cards. Some people hate them, but I like getting someone something they're going to use. Like I got my wife a bunch of presents that I know she's going to use. There's one gift that I don't know if she's going to like it or not, but it's a try that we can try to get some use out of it. But we'll have to see. It'll be interesting. It'll be a nice little fun thing on there too. Hey, Carol. Hopefully you're doing well. And she says, first time back. Hopefully Merry Christmas and you're doing well with everything. And, staying warm, because it's pretty chilly here in Florida. So it's got to be cold everywhere else, Hopefully we're okay. Yeah, well, Darlene says that we made it fun for all of us. The Walking Dead was an amazing time for all of it. It really was. The Walking Dead is going to be something I'm going to remember. Like I still wear I have a black jacket, like a zip-up jacket that has Daryl's wings on the back, and it says Walking Dead on the chest pocket. And I wear it when I go to the stores, and I wear it out and all stuff too. That's kind of like my cold winter jacket in Florida, which is laughable because it's not really that thick. But I'm going to wear that forever. And it'll be interesting to see like when people, say anything about it. But yeah, it really was a great time. Like I said, it changed my life as well. It's sad that it's over, but it made me want to get into my book series. It made me want to do things on there too, because it was just done right. And then it had its missteps, of course, with writing and decisions and people leaving. But it just was the way a good show should be done, in my opinion. And I mean, I have a copy of the script of the first episode, the pilot episode of The Walking Dead. I could watch it right now and still enjoy it. That's the makings of a good, no, take that back, great episode, show, movie, whatever. Like I was watching The Matrix yesterday. That movie came out in 1999. I remember going to the movie theater to watch it with my friends. And that was a game-changing movie in my mind. It almost like blew my mind how they did it. And it's a good story, science fiction stuff of free will and destiny and choice and this and, simulate. Like it's kind of crazy when they're talking about a simulation in the process of the Matrix in the movies. So some people still believe in that stuff. And I don't think so. I personally don't think we are, but it's an interesting theory and an interesting topic for sure. Yeah, so it's definitely, an interesting, awesome thing. And, I got to meet and talk to and interact and just be part of a great community of the Walking Dead fans. I was just a small part of the fandom of the Walking Dead, Exactly, I really wish that Walker Stalker was still a thing. Because that really helped the show. It really helped the community. And then when all that stuff fell apart, and the financials and this and that, and it was just like, well, that's what happens with stuff too. Like it was a great, I'll never forget the first convention I went to was the Walker Stalker in Orlando with my dad. And I was looking, we have the photo up of my dad and I with the cast. And it's an awesome photo. I mean, not everybody's in it, Rick and, or two. But then I talked to a person about the conventions, and he was a person that worked there, and he was telling me about the best convention was the Atlanta convention because that's where they all go because they were filming at the time, and the conventions were usually in like October, I believe. And so it was always cool to hear stuff and then go do it. I remember seeing the Atlanta movie tours that was there, and I saw pictures of the tour where people were at filming locations, and I was like, what is this? You know, like around season 3 when they were going around here around the silos and stuff, and they were in there too, and it was just awesome. I was like, man, I gotta get down on this tour. And then we took tours, and then we took different ones, and that it was just a cool time and everything, a different time, you know. So long ago, and it's coming up on like 15 years ago when all that stuff like really took off. For me, at least, especially the channel and stuff too, you know. Yeah, I have never been. Anissa says about the camp. So the camp is like a small convention with Walking Dead, and I think a couple people from From are going to be there. Or at least one. I think Victor from is going to be there. And it'd be pretty cool if Harold's going to be there. If Boyd, the actor who plays Boyd. And I've never been there myself, but I know people love the camp. And it looks a little more intimate and just hopefully accessible with the actors. But I'll never forget going on the Walker Stalker cruises. Like, we went all 4 cruises. Every year was a new Walker Stalker cruise. Victor and Donna are going to be there. That's awesome. But no Boyd, Anissa. And it's that was really awesome to go on a cruise. I've always liked going that every year. You know, if I can go on a cruise once a year, every year, you know, for the rest of my life, that'd be pretty awesome. And I don't know if I can, and I don't know if I will, and I'll try to go on a nice vacation at least once a year. You gotta have something to look forward to, you know. You gotta be able to have stuff on your calendar for, you know, like next week coming in a couple of days is Christmas Eve. I like Christmas Eve actually better than Christmas Day myself, but because it's like the anticipation of it. Like once you're kind of in it and it's over, like the quote about it's about the journey, not the destination. Because once you get there, it's like, what do you do now? And it's like the anticipation right before it on there too. And it's just pretty cool. And you got to have stuff to look forward to. Like next week, next month, next year, whatever, you know? So I was talking to my mom yesterday, and the plan is hopefully to go back to New Jersey next year for like a long weekend at some point of the year. Because my parents are getting older. I want to meet my nieces, my brother's daughters that I haven't met yet. Seen them on Instagram and everything, and we'd like to meet them. But it's tough being so far away. You know, I miss them, but not enough to go move back to New Jersey. You know. Yeah, Carol, once you go, I remember my first cruise too. It was my spring break in college, and it hooked me on the vacation spot of going on a cruise, especially if you live in Florida or New Orleans, the ports there too, or Texas, or I guess California, wherever there's a bunch of ports or a good port by you. You know, because in Florida, I lived in Tampa. Like I live in Tampa Bay, so there's the port here in Tampa. Port Canaveral is like 3 hours away. Fort Lauderdale is like 4.5 hours away. Miami's like 5 hours away. But if you live in different parts of the city, I mean, even Jacksonville, whenever, you know, you can live in different areas and go on a cruise. And it's always like the next cruise, the next vacation. I really wish I had the ability, because they used to be able to give you perks if you were on a cruise and you booked your next cruise or put money down on your next cruise there. They would give you usually onboard credit or whatever. There was more perks for it. And I think I did it one time, and we actually used it. And it's always nice to have onboard credit because you could use that for drinks or whatever. And it's not a lot, but it's nice. Yeah. Well, that's true, Dragon. So the idea of being stuck on a boat or stuck anywhere is never good. But you're not really stuck, because the cruise alone is an awesome vacation just on the boat, on the ship. And then you get off to go to the islands. And even if you don't get off on the island, it's just nice to relax and take the time and work out or sleep in or watch a movie or whatever, you know. And then if you want to go to Cozumel or Nassau or Grand Cayman or whatever, you can go there and enjoy it, you know, on there as well. And it's just pretty cool. So if you ever get a chance, you can get sick, you can get seasick, you can get anything. I mean, it's not, you can get sick anywhere. You can go to a resort and get sick. You can go to Disney World and get sick. So that's not a thing. Oh yeah. But you're not on unstable, you know, water. So that's where you can get seasick. But if you got to fly and you got to do this, or you go into a hotel, you know, the chances are for what it is. But definitely give it a chance. And I'm you know, if you know me, if you've been following me for some time now, hopefully you got the idea that I want you to do stuff. I want you to try stuff. I want you to take, you know, chances or risks, like minimize the outcomes and the risks of it, but enjoy it. Take something, go somewhere, do something, get out of your comfort zone, you know? I know people that never want to leave the state that they're in. They want to stay in their home. They want to go to the same places to eat. You want to see the same people. You don't want to travel. You don't want to go do anything. And you can do that. That's your prerogative. But if you have a travel companion or someone that cares about you or someone that loves you, because it's got to be tough to live alone and travel alone. But if there's a group, whether it's your family, somewhere, your community, church or whatever, you know, there's outlets for that. And like, you want to do it now while you can, because when you get older, we're going to start slowing down. It's inevitable for all of us too, you know. And you know, I'm not trying to tell you to do everything under the sun, but just try a little bit on there too. You never know what it's going to be like. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Dragon says that is most Americans. They live and die their entire lives within an hour or two of where they were born. Yeah. Yeah, and he says, funny, my therapist who works in the clinic, he actually flew home back to Ohio on Friday, and he flies into the Canton-Akron airport. It's a small airport, evidently. And he's going to be there for a couple days, and you know, hopefully he's going to not get snowed in or do anything like that. But I don't know if you guys got some snow recently or not. But he's going to be home for the holidays, which is nice. You know, it's definitely nice to be home. But you couldn't pay me enough to fly home to New Jersey. There's no way to actually be home for the holiday. I'll fly home around the holiday, or you know, not exactly what it is. So the big thing is to be around it, because I like the holiday feel of the area, but I don't need to be home the actual day of the holiday, because so many people fly home. Like, so many kids are home from college or school or this or that, or you're flying home. It's just so much people. People to me, people are the problem. You know, when you have too many people on a cruise ship, in a store, at the DMV, in a supermarket, at an airport, wherever, it's like, then it gets crazy. This, that, oh yeah, traffic, whatever. It just could be too much too. So, but yeah, I've been to Ohio one time, flying from Tampa to Cleveland and then Cleveland to Boston. So we didn't even get off the plane. So to fly there, we just stayed on the same plane. Actually, we didn't even have to get off. So we just moved up to go there. But yeah, stay warm. And he said, everybody else, if you're in a cold weather right now, I got to keep that warm going. Hopefully it's going to warm up a little bit for the holidays. I know people like it cold, and because I know my family back in New Jersey sent me pictures yesterday about the snow that came down. And it's nice because it's on the ground, not the road. And that's when it gets dangerous, when it's on the road. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's a good spot there, Rob. Like I said, I used to live in South Jersey, so right across from Pennsylvania, right across from Delaware River. So we'd go to Pennsylvania a lot. Rob, do you live like more like Western PA or like Pittsburgh kind of area? Because I feel like that's a good kind of area for like Ohio, spot, just on the map. Like, I don't know how far stuff away is, but that seems like a good, ability to get around and be there too. Because, eventually, I mean, I probably never move back to the Northeast, but yeah. So Pittsburgh is so far west that I've never had a chance. Even though I would love to go to Pittsburgh, maybe see a Steelers game or whatever, and see something. Because when I think of Pittsburgh, I always think of a lot of bridges, those yellow bridges going into the city. And I think that's what it is, right? Like, you're just driving in and there's all these yellow bridges going in. And, just because I'm watching Hard Knocks right now and they're covering the AFC North, which is the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. And it's always cool to see the area. Like, I love watching that to see what it is, too. I would love to go to, I got to get over to Chicago, got to get over to, a couple other cities for sure. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Is every bridge yellow? Like, I don't know. Is it? Like, as I know, it's black and gold, black and gold, black and yellow, so it's definitely the same kind of feel, but that's all I've ever seen too, But just from pictures, like I said, I'd never been there. So Diana, she says, that's why she moved to Florida. Too cold for me. How cold is too cold, Diana? Like what would you say now that you're Floridian? What's the cold like? Because I love to talk to people when I see what cold is. Like, I have a couple patients that are like born and raised in Florida, and when we had the cold front coming through and the weather's like 40 degrees or 50 degrees, you're like, yeah, that's kind of cold. But I think last night, okay, that, when it's probably like 40. Or it feels like 40, that is pretty cold, And anytime there's a 20-degree drop-off, like if you're used to 70 and then it's 50 or in the 40s, like that's pretty cold for our bodies. They always talk about thinning your blood and all that stuff too. And, they never really talked about it on The Walking Dead, but I always thought it was interesting about the idea of the seasons, the walkers being frozen, and they never really talked about it much on the show, except for that couple episodes that one season. I don't know if it was season 9 or 10, and it was cool to see that. Like, that would be a thing that they would talk about in Virginia, because that's where they filmed. That's what the show's setting was, even though they filmed in Georgia. That would be the perfect time to just go around and just kill all the walkers that were frozen. So then walkers wouldn't be a problem. They don't even really mention that at all. Like, it was just so crazy to think about the walkers that would be there 10, 15 years into it. And they were in Georgia, where it gets pretty cold, and Virginia. And then even in other places like the Commonwealth or the CRM and everything, they were in Nebraska. They were in Oregon. They were, in Ohio is the Commonwealth. So, like, it's the same type of things. They would have the weather, the elements up there. So it's just kind of interesting, 23. Nighttime gets much colder. I bet, Rob. That sucks. That's cold. The coldest temperature I've ever been in is 9 degrees when I was in Birmingham, Alabama, in 2009. And that was pretty cold. And then, like, I didn't have the other thing too is, like, if you're dressed for it, it's okay. But I don't know how you're dressed for negative degrees. Like, I don't know how people do that. Because if it's cold, you can't have any, like, if it's negative degrees or like below, like 31 is freezing. So if it rained or whatever is water, it's going to freeze. Because that was the biggest thing, is when it's 32 degrees, water melts. The ice melts to water. I said water melts, that makes sense. Ice melts. So if it went above 32, the ice would melt. And then would go below, and then it freezes again. So like the rows would be like slushy and then icy and then not, and then icy and slushy and then not and whatever. And then they put stuff down to break up the ice. But it's nothing more dangerous than driving on ice or driving fast on a regular road. I saw a video on Instagram, I think, that there was this road in Minnesota that had all these accidents on the highway. Like, yeah, exactly. Black ice there, Carol. If you ever driven on black ice, it's scary, man. Because you're just driving along, and then you have no traction, and then hopefully you get it back, or you're just going to skid. Like, if your tires just lock up on you on the ice, and you have no control. You can't do anything. And I'll never forget my friend and his Geo Tracker, before he got his Jeep, he was sliding on the ice, and he's like, I'm sliding. And luckily we hit like a barricade of snow, because if not, we were going right into the highway, right into 4 lanes of cars that were zipping by. So I don't know what would have happened. It would have been terrible. You look back on stuff like that too, like, wow, it's the dangerous stuff. Some dangerous stuff that happened on there too. Some dangerous situations that I was in. But we're here. You keep moving forward. You can't dwell on the past. You got to keep moving forward. You learn from it. You appreciate where you've been, who's been there too, And it's always fun. I talk about the quote too, perception is reality. If you perceive something a certain way, that's your reality. Good, bad, or different. And there's a nice little line that's in The Matrix that I watched yesterday, with one of my favorite, like, lesser actors. It's like Joe Pantoliano, whatever his name is, from The Sopranos, Bad Boys, The Matrix. It's when Cypher is his name, and he's talking to the Agent Smith. And his plan is to do this, to catch Morpheus. And he's doing this, and he's having steak with the agent. And he's like, I know this steak isn't real, but it's delicious, and this and that too. And he's drinking wine. And he's like, I realized something. Ignorance is bliss. It's better not to, like, know things sometimes, right? Like, it's better to just go about your day, go about your life, and just keep it moving. Because if you know about all the crazy things that are going on around you or to you or whatever, it may drive yourself crazy. And now that we know so many things, like the world has 24-hour access to news on social media or CNN or whatever, we have all this access to information. Look at the anxiety rates. Look at the depression rates. Look at all those things that are just beating us down and making us feel terrible. So it's almost better for certain things, not everything, of course, just to not know everything too. Like, I don't want to know everything going on in the world, especially when you watch the news. It's terrible. Like, I have patients, especially like elderly patients, that they're home most of the time. They live alone, or they have a family member, usually like a son or daughter, that comes to visit them, hopefully every day, but if it's not every day, they're home alone. So they're watching TV. And if you watch TV, because a lot of the older people have cable, like they don't have streaming services, they don't know how to use them or whatever, so they watch the news. And they're always telling me about this or about that on there too. And it's kind of good because I don't really watch the news that often. So they're talking about the drones in New Jersey and talking about, the shooter guy, and talking about the trial about this and talking about this but they know everything. They know what's going on with this guy and the next president and the this and the that. And you're like, man, it's got to be kind of depressing, because like anytime I watch the news, like I'll watch the news maybe once a week or a couple times a week, and I put it on, and it's a local news, and like clockwork, it's like this, that. They talk about the sports, the Bucks or the Lightning or whatever, and they talk about a bunch of things. But then I get to the next news, which is the world news with David Muir. And like clockwork, every episode is the same. They talk about something here or something bad or something this, like not a lot of good stories until the very end. Until the very end, they're like, we have this segment, we talk about Made in America or whatever, about a company that's made in America, that's a product that's selling whatever, and it's American based and whatever, and it's coming up next. So commercial, and then this, and then commercial, and then that, and then they finally get to the good topic, and it's on for about 42 seconds, and then we'll see you next week, or see you tomorrow, and then commercials into the local news again too. Excuse me. And so it's like, wow. And I want to have like some good stories, you know? Like I know the word, I'm a realist, so I don't believe the world's all sunshine and rainbows. Right, Rocky? It's not. But there's got to be some sort of good news in there too, a little bit too. And luckily the local news does a little better than that. They do a little bit here, a little bit there, and you know, people are still dealing with all the damage from the hurricanes, from the flooding and the rebuilding, and you know, people can't fix their homes and all this stuff too. So hopefully they can expedite some permitting and whatever they're going to do, because people can't get anything done. And so they show you some stories about that, but that's a local basis stuff. But as a world story, you know, the world stuff that's happening is the stuff in the Middle East and in Ukraine and here and there, and you know, the local stuff with, you know, there was stuff in Wisconsin that happened, and you know, and so like it's not the best. Like it's always like other bad stories, but then you may get a good reunion story when someone came home for the holidays, or someone did this, or I always like the stories that like a dog, like the owner's in the military, and he or she's gone for like 4 years or some like really long amount of time, and then they come home and the dog like comes in the house, and so is the owner that just came back, and the dog doesn't know what to do, and then they realize that their owner is back, and they get really excited, you know, like it's a really nice story. And again, that's probably for like 42 seconds, so it's not like that much of the world story, but it's kind of just like, can we get a little bit more of those? You know? And it just feels like that. Oh, man, the ball. But other than that, guys, what are you guys doing for the holidays on Tuesday and Wednesday? Which kind of stinks, too, that the holiday is on like a Wednesday. Well, like I said before, I do like the idea of Christmas Eve more than Christmas Day, even though I have to work Christmas Eve, like a half day. So hopefully I'll be done around noon or so. And then Christmas Day we have off, which is always good. And so what are you guys making for the holidays? You got any specialty meals for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or, you know? Because my wife and I, we're just going to kind of do a similar thing to Thanksgiving, because it's just the two of us, so we kind of do easy cooking. But how about you? I always want to see. I always like to hear what people, you know, have for their food or desserts or whatever. It was funny. One of my patients was telling me that she was in charge for like Thanksgiving, and she had to make a turkey for her husband, a lasagna for these people, and some fish for another daughter. And then her son was like, for Christmas, I want beef Wellington. And I'm like, man, he's giving you orders already. So she's got to work on this stuff. And, you know, and she was preparing that too. So I think I'll see her tomorrow or whatever. So I'm always interested to see how they're doing, because I feel like I'm involved, but I'm not. And I'm always interested to see, you know, how well their food is coming and whatever too. And some people are always like, not shocked, but like that I remember stuff. But like I take ownership with these people. I treat them like when people walk through the door and I evaluate them, we become connected. You know, I want to get to know these people and see how they're doing and get them better. And sometimes it's just to get to know them, because I see people 2 to 3 times a week for months. So I get to, you know, really hear about their life or ask where they're from or what they're doing on there too. Like I have a guy that's been on a bunch of cruises, and he went on a cruise on Thursday, and he'll be back on Monday, and I'm going to see him at like in the morning. So he's got to like take his wife to work, and he's probably got to go home, drop the bags off, do whatever, and then come to PT. So I'm going to be interested to see. He's obviously leaving out of Tampa, the Tampa port, so he'll be local there too. So I want to know what the latest is for, the cruises that are going on now. And I'm interested to see if they put up a Christmas tree and they're doing that whole thing, because it's the holidays. So you got to put up some decorations. I mean, you don't have to, but I would want to see that. If I was on a cruise ship now, from like Thanksgiving to New Year's, you got to put up some decorations on there too, right? Maybe you do the whole thing. You put up a menorah, you put up a Christmas tree, you put up a Festivus pole, you put, anything like that, you put it up. It'd be really, really nice. Yeah, I don't even know. I think I've ever had beef Wellington, but I know that she was making that for her son. And I was like telling we were talking to the same patient, and she was saying that she didn't make like these biscuits or something one year, and everybody, all her kids were like, "Oh, no biscuits." Oh, so now she knows every year to make the biscuits and whatever for that too. And like, that's the stuff I remember too. Like, I remember having Thanksgiving at my dad's house, going to my mom's house the next day, Black Friday, or going there when I got older, have a car, I would drive over there for dessert for Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving. And Christmas Eve, we would go to my aunt's house. Christmas morning, we'd wake up, go to the diner with my aunt, uncle, cousin, my grandfather when he was still alive. And we'd go to the cemetery to see my grandmother and my friend from high school and a couple other relatives there. And then my dad would take me over to my mom's, and I would be there for so much time, or later on I would drive there. And just little things like that, just remembering, like, it's small little things in your day-to-day life, but it sticks with you. Or it sticks with me at least too. And I think that's the stuff you remember. So those little memories, those little things, and it's nice to have that. Because, I've said it before, that my parents got divorced when I was 2 years old. So that's all I ever knew. I only ever knew like going here and there and splitting time. And so my holidays were always split between two households. And so it's what it was for me. And then when you get older, you see your friends and you do that. And, it's always kind of tough to like split time with going here, going there, seeing your friends, seeing that. And then when you get, a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a significant other or a wife or a husband or whatever, then you got to even go more houses. That's why I like that movie 4 Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, because also I totally agree with the idea of going away for the holiday, like going on a nice vacation, because that's what the whole premise is that Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon are going away on vacation for the holiday. They're actually taking a vacation on their vacation, but then all the flights get grounded and they have to go see their families. So they go to the 4 Christmases because both characters' parents are divorced. So they have to go like that too. So I totally understand it from that standpoint. And of course it's a comedy and it's crazy, and Jon Favreau's character and all this stuff, but it's just kind of a thing that you can relate to. Sad, but stuff happens for a reason, and I don't want to think about it as why, because you just have to move on for it too. So Anissa, Merry Christmas to you too, you and your family. Gotta run, she says. Have fun on there too. So have a good holiday. Enjoy. Hopefully some warmer weather in Ohio warms up a little bit for you on there too. But either way, have a good time with you, yours, your friends, your family, everybody. That's what it's all about too, the holidays. And I do believe it's always nice. I don't know if it is really better to give than receive for certain things, because if you get a great gift, that's always awesome too. But there is joy in giving a good gift. Like when I give a gift to somebody and I know they're going to like it, that makes me happy too. Because that's what it's all about. Making people happy, making yourself happy, but your loved ones, if you have kids or cousins or nephews or nieces or this or that too, it's just nice. And it's just a nice feeling that you're like, and it's tough driving around now when people are terrible drivers. They don't care about anybody but themselves. Stupid neighbors shooting fireworks off and whatever, just being dumb in my neighborhood. And you're like, man. But if we get better one by one, little by little, then hopefully the numbers will turn and shift to us being better. Like letting someone go in traffic, but not also letting everybody go in traffic. Holding the door for people, holding the elevator for people, assisting people with, whatever. If someone has one item, letting them go in front of you at the grocery store. Or how about the grocery store has like 7 registers open instead of 2? Like there's only so much we can do as good people. We have to get some help from other good people and managers and stores and people. It's just like we can only do so much. And then after a while, it's like, you know what? I give up too. I'm going to join the schmucks out there, but then deep down, it's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of the dummies out there, the selfish people, but sometimes you have to be, but, and you got to move on and just have fun with life and appreciate the good on there too, because sometimes the holidays can be sad if you're alone or whatever. Because like, my dad back home in New Jersey, my stepmom was in the hospital for like over a month, and she just got put into a rehab to build up her strength and build it back up, and probably going to be there for 2 weeks. So she's clearly she was in the hospital for Thanksgiving. She's going to be in the rehab for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's, and then hopefully go home and get better, get stronger, and do everything on there too as well. But it could be sad, like to be home alone and not have anyone, talk to you or whatever. But that's what happens too, is the bigger thing too. I don't know what I would do if my wife wasn't here and whatever, because I don't have a lot of friends here. All my friends are back in New Jersey. So it's like, I don't know. But then, it's sad to say, if we live long enough, we're going to be alone. So let's enjoy it now and make those memories and take those pictures and those videos of good memories so we can look back on them. And then maybe make new friends and make new good things in there too. That's why I always like to have, to get people better in therapy, obviously. That's the main goal. But also have the people have a good time and think of them as like friends. But if they got to do their homework and they're not doing their exercises, then you got to do it. I'm not just going to be their friend. Like, no, it's okay. No, you got to do it. And that's how I am anyway. Like, I have a friend, Sean, that I love the guy. I've known him since 6th grade. He's like a brother. But there's things that he does that I don't agree with, and I tell him. There's stuff that he has this mindset for, and I'm like, what? He's the type of guy that I don't know if he still does this, but I remember he was telling me that he was going to go shopping on Christmas Eve for his, at the time, girlfriend then. But I was like, really? You're going to go shopping on Christmas Eve? But he did. Well, that's what he said it did. He did at least. And I could never do that. So, like, we're opposites, but at the end of the day, we care about each other and we're friends and we'll do anything for each other. But I'm like, man. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be a yes person for stuff, because that's just appeasing the person. But what if they're doing something that's wrong or dangerous or dumb or stupid or whatever that's not right? And I just said, yes, that's a good idea. And then they hurt themselves. And I'm like, man. I'd rather be like, dude, I don't think you should do that. That doesn't make sense. You got to do it another way, or you shouldn't do that. And then if they still go and do that, my conscience is clear. That's what it's all about too. Is like having a clear conscience. Like, I did everything I could. I love the quote, You can take a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I can show the way or lead the way or this or that. The person has to do it themselves. I can tell you how to do the exercises and show you and work on it, but I can't make you do the exercise. I can't do the exercises for you. You have to do it. You have to choose to do it. So, what I've learned too over the years is that when people don't want to do something, they won't do it. They'll have every excuse in the world to not do it, especially with exercises, right? But if you don't think of exercises as a detriment or something to stop you from doing something else, like I can't do that. I don't have time to exercise. I got to wake up. I got to go to the doctor's appointment. I got to come home. I got to go food shopping. I got to have lunch. I got to pick this person up. I got to do it. I got to do this. It's a bunch of thises. But if you think about it, you can go try this. Like if someone's going to go stand on, by the countertop and do some exercises, like go up on your toes, do some squats, do some butt kicks, do some side kicks, do some marching. You can do that anytime. You put something in the microwave for 45 seconds, do a couple heel raises, do a couple squats. Come over there, you put your coffee on, you do this, you do that. Try a couple marches, try a couple butt kicks. You do that. You're not stopping what you're doing. It's about adapting, modifying, and changing the stuff to do it every day, but in a way that's compliant and, a daily routine. And some people say, oh, wait, I don't have to stop what I'm doing. I'm not missing out on doing this. Because if you're ranking things, exercise is not going to be for a lot of people. And that's okay. But you just got to try to do the best you can with what you got and lead people to possible success. And then it's up to them to do it. You lead them to the door, and they have to choose to walk through it. Do they do it? I don't know. but that's all you can do. But again, it's all about that clearing my conscience, clearing myself. I did this, I did that. What can I do? What can I not? And so that's kind of a thing that helps me out. There's rules, ethics, morals, ideas, views, whatever. Everyone's different. But, pretty similar. That's all right. But other than that, guys, it's just going to be my wife and I and the cats, Milo and Otis. Speaking of Otis, I believe the actor who played Otis on The Walking Dead is in the new Superman movie, I believe. Because when you're watching the trailer, it happens so fast. But I could be wrong. Did anybody see that trailer? Am I right? Because I think so. We got the Bucks playing the Cowboys tonight on Sunday Night Football. If you watched the games yesterday, it was the Chiefs and the Ravens winning. I would personally love to see Buffalo play Detroit in the Super Bowl, but we'll have to see how that goes because Buffalo kind of falls apart in the playoffs, and Detroit is so banged up right now. So we'll have to see, what happens there too, and probably like a month or so we'll see. We'll be getting right there for the playoffs, the championship games at the end of January and early February is the Super Bowl. So we'll have to see who's going to be there. And a lot of people are like over the Chiefs. They're like, I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. I'm like, I'm not really. Like, a good team is there. I don't mind Mahomes and Kelsey and whatever on there too, but I won't be mad at Buffalo being there too, But I would like to personally love to see a little different teams there. And, if it's Buffalo and Detroit, that's good because one of those teams will be getting their first Super Bowl. And that's awesome too. And I would love to see Texas play Georgia in the national championship game. And it could happen the way they're lined up and their rankings and the way that could happen there too, because Texas has 2 losses, only 2 losses this year. And both of them are from the University of Georgia. So how awesome would it be if they play each other in the final game of the year and Texas gets their revenge? Unless you're a Georgia fan. But, I like both schools, but I'm kind of rooting for the Longhorns, and hopefully he'll play Arch Manning, then the nephew of Peyton and Eli too. So, all right, guys, that's my time, but I appreciate it. I don't know if I'll be doing a live stream next Sunday. I should be doing one, but if not, I will post it in I always have a comment to say if there's no live stream or not. So other than that, guys, have a safe and sound holiday. If you're traveling and you're going to be somewhere, make sure you'll be okay. Take your time. Everything's a rush nowadays, but, safety first and always. Enjoy Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever you celebrate. Have a good holiday, and I'll be back either next Sunday or the next year. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. You have a good holiday, and I'll see you next time. See you guys. See ya. Happy holidays and Merry